Today communication is in a second, you know what's going all over. And now I just saw in a paper that the problem in South Africa that the ambassador, the South African, called them Israel, the ambassador, South African ambassador from Israel, they called him home, and Israel called their ambassador. So it seems to be that South Africa and Israel are not seeing things eye to eye.
Does anybody have any comment on that?
Yeah, unfortunately, this government, they find it
anti-Israel.
Yeah, they find it nicer to support the Hamas than to support the state of Israel. That's the truth. That's how it is.
Yeah, but to use all the technology, that is fine.
Well, I understand what I saw, that the chief rabbi cut out from the prayer for South Africa,
Yes.
cut out the government. He said usually was the part of the prayer to pray for the president and the government. And now he said, because of the support of Hamas, then he cut them out. But I understand now there is a little bit of what I say, a fear. Was a demonstration on Shabbat, no, in Johannesburg and in Cape Town.
Yeah, so Cape Town they had, but it wasn't. We weren't, but they had the previous week also in Cape Town. It was quite, they just tell us a CSO, don't engage them, don't speak to them, just ignore them. That's what we've been doing. But we did apply for passports. Can you believe we haven't got passports? None of us.
I'm just asking whether there is any feeling in the street, let's say, that if somebody is seen as a Jew, let's say, walks with a kippah, with a yarmulke, whatever, does he meet any hatred or whatever?
No, I don't think so.
Rav.
A few of the ANC have tried to make a distinction between Israelis and Jews. That not all Jews are bad, all Israelis are bad.
But I heard today that in Los Angeles, a Jew was killed by a Muslim.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I was just listening to Netanyahu. Netanyahu made a big speech now in Tel Aviv, saying that the Israeli army is now in Gaza City itself, and they have surrounded the bunker where the leader of Hamas is. He was now speaking, we heard it on the BBC.
Yeah, listen here, the army is very much in the whole time, and we just have to daven and pray that they shouldn't be armed. Number one, the soldiers who go in. Number one. Number two, that the rockets are still trying to send rockets. Thank God today, none of them caused any damage, that they fell either into the sea or in open places. And the main concern, of course, we daven for those that were kidnapped.
Yes.
Yeah.
We don't know what did they do to them.
That's the big problem.
One thing we can see that when in the Torah, we read in the parasha, when was it last week, the Ishmael, when it says he will be Pere Adam, will be what do you say in English, Pere Adam, a wild human being.
Man.
So it's not just wild. It's not. It's less. They are less than animals because animal still has got some rachmones, and you never see an animal to go and kill a baby or whatever. They slaughtered people.
Yeah.
So
And full showed everybody. They barbarians.
Harav,
Barbarians.
once this is all over, Netanyahu must go. I blame him for everything that's happened. Because he split Israel, he made Jew fight Jew, they took the eye off the ball, and his security staff and the head of the army, they need to be put on trial. This should never have happened. You can't leave your border with Gaza. You know the people want to kill you, that there was no defense whatsoever. It took them 3 hours and more to get soldiers down to Sderot and these other places. It was a failure of the Israeli government completely.
Yeah, but I agree with you that there is a lot what to question, but I don't believe this is the time now to do it.
No, not now. No.
Yeah, but unfortunately, even in Israel, you find some they start now climbing on Netanyahu and others and so on, and you can blame not only Netanyahu, you can blame the government which was before Netanyahu last year, the same thing. A lot of people had to give answers to a lot of questions.
Yeah.
The only thing is that we can, as believers, the only way out to understand that there is when HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when God is not happy with his children's behavior, he sent them, he closed the wisdom
We closed them.
of the leaders. More than God, they are not really fit to be leaders. So we believe that there's nothing just happened, and therefore we don't know what happened. But one thing I think I mentioned to you last week, I see that there is things that's happened to bring such a conflict and hatred between in Israel itself, with the left and right, and it really was unbearable. And now seems to be that people mostly are supporting each other, and there is some unity. The question is, will this last? Number one. Number two, did we have to pay such a high price to get it? They are talking about over 4,400 people were killed. Over 5,000 people injured. Some of them are seriously injured, about 500 or so. They are still not. So there is a lot and I'm sure that after the war will finish it, and please God, it should finish as soon as possible. A lot of heads will be chopped off from the leadership of government and others, because a lot of questions, a lot of people who are whether in the army, whether in the politics, whether in the government, whether in all over, we'll have to give answers. Some of them already admitted and confessed on their mistakes. Bibi Netanyahu also said something to foreign that he takes responsibility and so on, but there are still the leftists who hate him. They are not happy. They say that it's too mild. He should do something. He should resign, whatever. Anyhow, what can we do? We have to do is not to weaken our faith in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Things are not just happening on, and we can, our duty, if we cannot go and fight, and we can, all over the world, we can pray and daven that things should be going well and the war should finish quickly with less casualties, and that we should learn the lessons.
Amen.
So we go now to learn, to the credit of the soldiers and all the others, and we are in 5th chapter, either 17, Mishnah 17 by some, or can be 20, depends on the print, but as I said, of every time, doesn't matter, the text is the same. And today we are talking about machloikes, controversy. And this is something that we are witnessing it, and to say, as I said, to certain point, the Arabs, I think, realized that there is a controversy inside, and therefore they chose to attack now. So the Mishnah says, "Kol machloket shehi l'shem shamayim, sufa litkayem." Every controversy which is for the sake of heaven will endure in the end. And every one which is not for the sake of heaven will in the end not endure. And the Mishnah gives us examples. What is machloket l'shem shamayim, which is for the sake of heaven? Zo machloket Hillel v'Shammai. The dispute between Hillel and Shammai, this is a dispute which is or was l'shem shamayim, for the sake of heaven. V'shena l'shem shamayim, and which is the one that is not for the sake of heaven, such like the conflict between Korach and his entire assemblage. So, obviously, this is something that, unfortunately, we Jews, machloikes is not something unusual. In every community, every generation, we witness this kind of conflicts.
Thank you, Ed.
It could be very well that Jews they've got opinion, and they like to stand on their point of view. Nothing wrong with it. The question is, if people are doing it because of pure reason, they disagree because each one have got his own opinion, which L'Shem Shamayim should be like for the sake of heaven, it's looking for the truth, or there is other reason for this dispute, and not L'Shem Shamayim, not for the sake of heaven. So we will want to discuss a little bit this concept and examples. So machloket L'Shem Shamayim, as I said, this is something that is when people are arguing because they want to get the truth. There is a subject, opinions of people differ, everybody has got an opinion, and if it has to be pure, only looking for the truth, everybody he thinks he's got the truth, it's fine, nothing wrong with that. But if there is other reasons, what will be other reasons? Like we'll try with the example of Korach and his group. What was the machloket between Korach and his group? First of all, there is a very interesting point here. The machloket was between Korach and Moshe Rabbeinu. The Mishnah doesn't say Korach and Moshe Rabbeinu. They say Korach and his group. So what does it mean? It shows that the group of Korach himself were split. People gathered together with Korach, but the cause or the reason, people had different reasons. Everybody had his own wanted to get their own benefit. We know that Korach, what does he want? Although that the argument was God is he's arguing against Moshe Rabbeinu. כל העדה כולה קדושים, the whole community is holy. Why you, Moshe Rabbeinu, you took the leadership and you appointed your brother and so on. So what does it mean? It's meant to say Korach, he was jealous. He wanted to be the leader, the great man, and so on. Notwithstanding that Moshe Rabbeinu didn't become the leader, he was appointed by Kadosh Baruch Hu, by God. Moshe Rabbeinu many times was, so to speak, seemed to complain. He said, why did you choose me? He was suffering. He was suffering to see the suffering of the people when things went wrong. But Korach, and I think that we discussed it when we spoke about the Parashat Korach. It happened, when did he start this fight? After a couple of things happened that people misbehaved and they died. So there was a lot of unhappiness, and people were like talking, trying to blame Moshe Rabbeinu. So Moshe Korach found or thought this is a good time to launch his campaign against Moshe Rabbeinu, because what he claims against Moshe Rabbeinu, nothing started now. This all years, but all years, as the commentators say, Moshe Rabbeinu was so accepted by the people, admired by the people, that Korach knew that he hasn't got any chance to do anything then. So he waited for an opportunity. And the opportunity was Parashat Korach comes after Shlach, was with the spies that they came with a bad report, and then Hashem punished the people, and it was thing that people were unhappy. Korach said this is an opportunity to launch his campaign, because Hillel and Shammai, their dispute, they didn't wait for an opportunity to disagree and to dispute. They didn't look for opportunity. They were arguing for the truth. And as I said, nothing wrong. And everybody, we are trained in yeshiva and in there to argue in order to find the truth, not just to accept yes, to be a yes man. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us, each one of us, brains. You have to think, and if you see something is wrong, argue. But then it has to be for pure motive, not because there is a motive you want to catch a position, you want to be honored now. You are a person that nobody knows you. By making a big fuss, you're going to argue, to dispute, you'll become known, honored. This is Shalom L'Shem Shamayim. This is not for the sake of heaven. And this is, you don't argue, you don't argue because of the issue. You argue because you have got a self-interest. This is Shalom L'Shem Shamayim. It must be pure without self-interest. And what happened? If it is machloket L'Shem Shamayim, like Hillel and Shammai, sofa להתקיים. It's not quickly going to be resolved. Eventually, number one, it has take time. It has got a last. It will last, and at the end, the halacha, the law, will be decided as we know. The law became established like Hillel and Shammai, the halacha like Bet Hillel. It was came to conclusion. But it didn't just disappear. A machloket of Korach didn't last at all. So first of all, it can be it didn't last because HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God, intervened, and as you know, the story with Korach, all of them were blown in the ground. It was a quake and so on. So, אין סופה להתקיים, but also in a different level, if there is no basis of pure reason for the argument, it's not going to last. Because if you argue for not on a pure reason, then the people in your group are not going to continue if they don't see any benefit for themselves. They'll just disappear. It's true that in the case of Korach was God intervention, but generally you see in history, like we have a lot of disputes, let's say with the Karaites and so on, things didn't continue, didn't last. So the Mishnah also gives, if you need to examine if there is a dispute in a community, you'll see if it lasts. If it lasts, then it could be that it was for the sake of heaven and was a pure thing. But if it dies out, then you know it's Shelo L'Shem Shamayim. It was for reasons, different selfish reasons. The people, if the L'Shem Shamayim, as I said, you try to convince each other, because it is just a matter, the disagreement is on the basis of truth. So the two people are arguing to find the truth, not because they've got any other interest. So with the time, could be that they will come to an agreement when one will able to convince the other. But Shelo L'Shem Shamayim, you will not, you can't convince, because there is no truth there. There are also in the Sforim, in the holy books, it says the interesting thing, that the machloket of Bet Shammai or Bet Hillel, Sofa Litkayem, although as I said, the halacha was decided to have the halacha like Bet Hillel, but nevertheless, we still study Bet Shammai's opinion as well, because there is a substance to what Bet Shammai was arguing, and it's also part of Torah learning. It wasn't just Bobemeiser. It was on the basis of Torah and something that we study and to try to see this point as well. Moreover, it says that although the halacha became decided to be like Bet Hillel, it says when Mashiach comes, in the time of Mashiach, the halacha will be converted back to Bet Shammai. What does it mean? Because usually, as you know, Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel the Bet Hillel were the lenient opinion. The Bet Shammai is a strict opinion. And commentators say, in this world that we live, we don't live according to the highest degree of spirituality that we could absorb the opinion of Bet Shammai, which is the strict opinion. But when time, in Mashiach's time, when the world will be in higher level of spirituality, then the world will be able to absorb and accept the strict opinion of Bet Shammai. So therefore it says it will be forever. Bet Shammai.
I've got a minute left.
Okay, Bet Shammai. Maybe we will still continue. There are a couple of points which will still go to, because this is something that's important to understand the dynamics in communities and so on. So if you don't mind, in Mirza Hashem next Tuesday, we will finish this and we'll go to the second one. And in the meantime, I wish you all good Shabbos, and we should hear only good news from Israel and from all the Jewish communities all over the world, and including, of course, your community in South Africa. I say good night.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Take
Have a
care.
good night and have a good Shabbos. Thank you.
Everybody, thanks, Harav.
Shabbos, everybody.
Okay, be well. I hope, Beverly, that your camera will work. I like to see your face.
Thank you. I will